If you're trying to fill classes, sell workshops, or attract students online, you may think the answer is better marketing tricks, but the strongest marketing often comes from listening more closely to the people you want to serve. This segment shows how to uncover the language, the frustrations, and desires of your audience so your message connects naturally and authentically. I'm Lyric from the Academy for Virtual Teaching, and this is an insight from my conversation with Dawn Prickett on the Creatives on Camera podcast. I have a question and a great resource for you at the end of this video, so stick around.
I will say that paying for advertising, all it really does is reveal whether or not your messaging is good sooner. Because you can have good messaging and it will work on social media or organic channels. Putting dollars behind it just amplifies that same good messaging. You put dollars behind a bad message, it is going to fail faster. Although sometimes then we blame the ads platform and we're like, well, it's Facebook's fault that, they're just stealing my money. But have to have a message to begin with. This was another piece of advice that I got early on, was that if you genuinely listen to what your customers are saying, the words that they are saying, if you're talking to them and you say, what are your problems? How are you feeling about this? And they say anxious instead of worried, then you use anxious in your ads. You literally use the words that came out of their mouth and parrot them, because then other people like them recognize it and they're like, how did you know me so well? And you're, well, I'm just telling you, you told me. Good messaging is just helping people recognize themselves in what you have to offer.
It is. It is why, even when teaching, especially when teaching, I think, doing some market testing, interviewing your people, and some people think they can't launch because they don't have 1,000 people on their email list, right? But you don't need 1,000. You need to talk to 5 people who might be interested, and especially 5 people who have no clue. They're not experts about what you're doing, and talk to them about the technique or the product or whatever it is you're doing and exactly what you're saying. And when you only have 5 people, get on Zoom for half an hour with each one. That is a gold mine of messaging, of the words that your people use. The best question is, why aren't you already doing this thing? What's holding you back? It's about what frustrates you about this. What do you wish you could do? What could you do if you already had this skill or already had this product, right? Keep it centered around the customer's experience.
Well, you've heard of the pyramid of needs, where we need food and things first. There is a pyramid of marketing too that kind of follows along with that. And the bottom layer of marketing messaging is all about the features of the product or the features of the course. There are 12 modules and you'll learn how to do this skill, this skill, this skill. That they're all about, it comes in 5 colors and it has a cup holder, or whatever. They're features, but they're very low on anybody's emotional attachment to it. And the higher up the pyramid you go, the more emotionally attached the person is to that messaging. So, the top of the pyramid is transcendence. Most of us are not selling transcendence of some kind.
But some sort of transformation.
But particularly in courses, some kind of transformation. A before and after. I was here and now I'm here.
Well, even with a product like markers in knitting, before and after is a transformation. Before you lose your count, after, it's right there. You don't even have to think about it.
The best messaging. So some of those higher levels are a feeling of belonging, a sense of accomplishment, a feeling of nostalgia, some of these deeper emotional needs. But even this transformation of, I've always wanted to color, well, did you really want to color? Yes, but what does that mean to you to be an artist? I've always wanted to be an artist. What does that mean to be an artist? How does that emotionally make you feel to be an artist? What is the sentiment or the attachment? Is it pride? I want to see my name on a wall somewhere. Is it that feeling of there was just paint and now I made something? I made a thing that didn't exist in the world before. Is it You want to have that label behind your name, isolating and recognizing what is the actual desire there.
Yeah.
And some of it is most of our tools, honestly, are to avoid frustration but I've realized that avoiding the frustration comes down to the emotional desire of, I don't want to suck at this.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a universal desire. We just don't want to suck at things. And you know what? As business people, as teachers, as creators, there's no way to get around sucking at something when you're starting. And you have to be willing to do it anyway because you
Mhm.
can't not suck at it without practicing, without doing the thing. So, question, how often do you ask your students for feedback when you teach an art class? How does that work? What have you learned from doing that? Let me know in the comments below. At the Academy, we have a full course that does just this. It guides you through market testing, a new course, and using your students' words to create sales pages and email marketing that authentically connects with your students. It's a live cohort class, so you can either sign up for the waitlist or even better, join our free membership and get priority registration the next time it happens. And if you want to listen to the full podcast episode, you can find it on Creatives on Camera's YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, my friend, keep creating, keep teaching. What you do makes the world a better place. Never stop.